Coleman?
I'm doing fine.
You want to talk about a big money eye popper with Elon Musk and everything? They haven't even sunk their teeth into yet, and
No,
this is
there's plenty they haven't sunk their
no
teeth
this
into, but give it a try. What
this
do you got?
this ain't a try. This is the mother load right here. Let's talk about all the targeted citizens that they've been doing this to, and all the black budget funds that they've been using to do this with taxpayer dollars, with all these little liberal groups that's been around since Obama started, like Citizens on Patrol, neighborhood watch groups, Vanguard, which is a part of the FBI. They haven't even sink their teeth into this yet. I know this because I'm a citizens reporter and I'm a targeted citizen, just like a lot of other people around the world and in our own country. And under title section 18241 of the U.S. Code, conspiracy against rights is the laws they're breaking. You can look this up. This is free information for anybody. But they've been doing this since Hoover was in office, and when the COINTEL program in the 50s to 70s, and then that went downhill for a little bit. After that, it was kind of quiet. And then whenever the computer age started, and then 9/11 happened and everything, then you had the Patriot Act, which they did warrantless wiretappings, and they had all these little bells and whistles and these little toys and gadgets that they used on all of us. And the next thing you know, they're profiting off this, and all these research scientific aerospace companies, they're all making money off this stuff. And Elon's on to this. I know he is, and I know Jim Jordan is from Ohio because myself and some others sent him some letters, and he had finally received them. And, got a Morgan & Morgan lawsuit with some other people with this going on. This is heavy-duty stuff. There's other people that can back up my claims. Dr. Robert Duncan, I don't know if you've heard of him.
I don't doubt you one bit. I don't know to the extent that this has been going on against individual citizens, but I got news for you. They've been spying on pretty much all of us, and certainly those in the mass media. Oh, I got news for you. I'll bet you, and I do not know this for sure because I've never looked into it, but I'll bet you every single one of us that goes on the airwaves, and believe it or not, probably a lot of you that even call, I'll bet you've got FBI files.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Here's the kicker to this. This is a term that's used in our cases and scenarios. The FBI has coined this term. The Department of Homeland Security's coined this term. It's called gangstalking. You can look it up. There's videos on Vice on it. That's what they call it. But if you call the FBI or Department of Homeland Security fusion centers and you mention this and start talking about helicopters and Area 51 stuff, that some of these people that are mentally ill call about this stuff and they'll hang up on you instantly. I mean, instantly. I've got a YouTube channel and I've got a lot of evidence on this, along with a lot of other people, and I've had other people, credible people that's worked for the government contractors, ex-government contractors, say that is the most legit evidence I've ever seen. But if I try to turn it into the media or anybody like that, I've done talk to investigative reporters, and they said they all know about this stuff, but they're afraid to report on it unless we all bring it to the table. But the trillions of dollars that the military-industrial complex has on this, and the citizens that they get.
Don't you think that your day of being heard is pretty close to being at hand?
Oh yeah, this is especially right now because we were praying for Trump to be brought into office. Now he's got Elon opening the books. That's why all these liberals and Democrats are going crazy bananas because they do not want to be exposed. And they're exposing it step by step.
The louder they scream, the more we should take note. I've seen it in my little news career that when people scream the loudest, we got to protect the poor people. We got to protect the underprivileged. Those are the people always on the take.
And here we are ice skating uphill. And it's nonstop. But what I'm talking about right here has to be exposed. There's a lot of us that are hiding in turtle shells because we've been tormented with electronic warfare, all kinds of direct energy weapons. Not me per se. They've used people try to take me out because I was on a National Geographic documentary back in 2012. I was considered a whistleblower, but I didn't know this stuff existed. I never knew that.
I do know of other people that lives have been made miserable by some of the stuff you're talking about. I do know it exists.
There's three options in this one, what they do, and it goes on until they absolutely stop it, which there's too much money and too many players involved. Literally, it's either they're going to send you to prison somehow with this, they're going to send you to the nut house, or they're going to put you in a box somewhere, or they're never going to find you.
And quite honestly, there's a lot of baiting out there. There's a lot of enticement out there to try to incite violence in our society. can take some of these people down. January 6th was a very sophisticated operation.
That's absolute. You're absolutely correct on this one. Because January 6th, they had staged a lot of that and then pinned it on a lot of people. Granted, there was people there that were breaking the law, but it wasn't severe enough to give them 20 years in prison or hold them without habeas corpus.
22 years not to have any habeas corpus, so you did a little, let's call it trespass here. You did a little bit of vandalism. Okay, so you're going to destroy somebody's life for that? When other people would burn down cities, and they would not only not be prosecuted, they would be paid for doing that.
Oh yeah, there's a place in California. I don't know if it's still around right now. It was called, what was it? Crowds on Demand. I've found this. I don't know, out of a hat one time. You can literally call this place, and it's in North Hollywood, and you can set up a riot, and they will give you all the bells and whistles. They can bust people in. It's insane. It's some George Soros off the hook thing. I mean, and literally you can.
Let's put it this way: some of these people that have been funding riots, that have been funding civil unrest, I want them identified as
terrorists
groups, and I want them taken to prison, and I want all of their assets seized.
I 100% agree with you. The citizens that are involved in what they've done to me personally and violated my civil, human, and constitutional rights, and many others just like me. There's notable people besides myself. There is citizens that they use. They use a lot of liberal people that do this, and it is like out of a CIA book. They literally give them gift cards. They'll pay them to do this. They'll text your phone. I've got evidence out the yangity yang with proof of all this. They've slipped, but they know nobody will hardly listen to me unless it's out in the air somewhere.
I think your day is coming, and as this
Praise the Lord.
is revealed and this evidence is brought forward, I think at some point, I think you and your kind are going to be heard, and I want to tell you, we can't go back. You know, the McCarthy era, and I say Joseph McCarthy era with a lot of excitement because we're going back. Joseph McCarthy, I got news for you, he was on it. He was right on. Was there some collateral damage, you bet, but he had identified, and other people like him had identified, that there was a slow-rolling coup, as I like to call it, a communist takeover, a destruction of our system. And I got news for you, he was trying to stop it back then. And look at the results. Look at the results by not stopping that.
It's a big snowball rolling downhill.
Yeah, well, that snowball is beginning to melt, and quickly.
Well, this one, it's. I've had to get it out. I'm not afraid to talk about this. I've got, like I said, I got a YouTube channel. I've been on.
Well, let me ask you this: do you have legal counsel to help you in this too?
I have tried that, and every time I have tried that, they have ghosted me and backed out. Just like everybody that claims to be support groups for this, there's groups out there called Targeted Justice. People can look that up, but they're kind of scam artists about things. They just want your money and donation, but they never give you help. They give you useful government information on how to stop all this stuff, like. Let's say you're on a terrorist watch list. Well, if you submit a FOIA request to the FBI, they're supposed to get back with you. Well, I submitted one, and they shredded it.
Keep working to try to find a good lawyer behind you too.
They're scared to touch it.
I know they are. I know most of them are.
But this isn't something hidden.
There's going to be some braver lawyers. People are pretty brave when all of a sudden the tide turns and it looks like it's okay to be a patriot again. And I think we're at that time. You're going to find one. Just keep trying to get legal counsel on your side. That's going to become very important.
I hear that. I'm looking for the window. I've tried everything. Me and a few others have tried just about everything you can think of. And the media is where it's at. If you expose it with the media, that way everybody can get a dose of what's going on. And they're going to be mad just like they are now when they realize, hey, your tax dollars, trillions of tax dollars, are going to targeting their own citizens and doing some stuff that they would do in communist Russia back in the 30s and 40s.
Oh, yeah. It was getting so bad. It was getting so bad. And unfortunately, Trump did not have enough time and really did not understand the real depth of the swamp when he was in the first time. I think he does now, and I think he's going after him.
He's definitely going after him a lot more than anybody else would talk about doing it. And I know that this targeting program has slowed itself down since the time he's been elected till now. from everybody that I've spoke with in this community about this stuff, and we feel that, you know, it could put a dent in it. But if another 4 years goes by and we go back to where we were for the last 8 or so, we're finished.
We're done.
We're finished. You can kiss this country goodbye.
Yeah, I totally agree. So do you have optimism right now that we're going to fix this?
I hope. I got hope. I've had optimism for so long for the past 6-7 years with this bit, and it's every time that you think you're going to get somewhere with it, it just falls apart because everybody's scared to touch it. This is our country, and what are we doing here?
Yeah, there have been secret people, but understand, and I got news for you, our 3-letter agencies have been surveilling us lock, stock, and barrel.
They're the ones that are pulling the strings, but they're using private contractors to do this. And they're using private and citizens out here. Private citizens, people just got out of jail. People who are on probation or parole. They'll cut up a deal. They'll send in some gift cards. And there's people who do this for a living and ride around and do this.
Yes.
With their little toy gadgets, the flipper thing. They use all kinds of different apps that we don't have access to. Police departments have access to this. And they know about it. It's what kills me. Local law enforcement knows about it, but they won't do nothing about it. Nobody will.
Let's put it this way. Yeah, I'm not going to defend them on it, but I will tell you this.
They're on our side. There's good ones.
When they sense that the feds are involved in something, I think they don't know what to do. Their hands are kind of tied because they don't know if they're getting involved and interfering with the federal operation when in reality it's corrupt, it's crooked, it's unacceptable, it's unconstitutional, it's all the things that should not be happening in this country. But local law enforcement, they're intimidated by the feds, let's face it.
Well, if the feds can get away with all that for that many years, and they've even killed people doing this because they drove people to end their life and put people in dangerous situations with bad people.
Well, what I want to ask you to do is keep us up to date. Let us know how this is progressing.
Okay.
And keep the good fight. Do not rest until you have satisfaction that this is being ended and your voice is being heard. And you keep fighting, and I appreciate people like you because this has to end in this country, and I do know for a fact it has been occurring.
Can I spread out my YouTube channel so people can see some evidence of what's going on and then see multiple links to what's going on?
Normally I would say no, but you go right ahead.
It is Hard Target 1258.
Hard Target 1258?
Yeah, it would be at Hard Target 1258, but it's Hard Target 1258. And it's a shadow banned channel because I've got mucho evidence on there, and so does everybody else.
Are you on any other medium besides YouTube?
I did a National Geographic piece back in 2012, Animal Apocalypse, Paranatural, and I've been interviewed by a lot of people. A fellow from Great Britain, he interviewed me. It's on one of my playlists on there and one of my interviews. But there's other people that did interview me, like auditors, and I don't know what happened to the videos. They lost them off their channel and they won't talk to me. So I don't know what's going on.
Very, very interesting. I'm sure we will hear more of you in the future, but I appreciate the fight. I appreciate you standing up, and I appreciate you not taking this crap anymore.
I'm tired of it. And go Trump and go Elon. Pick them apart, guys.
All right, brother. Good luck.
You too. Thank you.